So the other day, DxOMark ranked the Galaxy S10 Plus having one of the best smartphone cameras you can buy today. In fact, it actually tied the Huawei Mate 20 Pro for the #1 spot. Now, I personally don't take DxOMark seriously, but I thought it'd be great to compare these two smartphone cameras. So here we have a beautiful sunny day. Both phones did a great job of taking the photo. If anything, it comes down to a small key differences. S10 Plus hits the cooler tones. The picture itself looks a little bit more blue, especially when you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Those two small ice patches are a little bit too blue, whereas on the Mate 20 Pro, it looks a lot more like real life, or at least it did at that time of day. Also, you can tell that the S10 Plus is being very aggressive with the over sharpening. The building itself looks softer on the Mate 20 Pro, especially in the foreground. If you look at the water fountain, or at least around it, it's a lot sharper on the S10 Plus compared to the Mate 20 Pro. Now, I do think the S10 Plus did a much better job of capturing the details, and you can especially see this when you zoom in. You can see the details around the clock tower better. You can see the black lines going through it. The only difference again is that you're getting slightly more over sharpening with the S10 Plus. The next photo I wanted to test high dynamic range, or HDR. This is a picture on a sunny day, pretty much pointing at the sun. I wanted to see what it would do with the foreground. The S10 Plus definitely has better HDR. The sky looks a little bit more blue, which is great, but the key area to notice in terms of HDR is the building itself. The Mate 20 Pro had a difficult time of capturing those details, whereas on the S10 Plus, you can actually see the windows, you can see the colors of the tree, and the color on the dome looks a lot more realistic. So in this photo, I just want to test out how the camera sensors would handle different colors. Both phones again did a great job, but it comes down to the same thing I talked about earlier. Cooler tones with the S10 Plus, you can see that in the snow. It's a little bit more blue compared to the snow with the Mate 20 Pro. I do think the Mate 20 Pro did a slightly better job with the shadows. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, the shadows have been lifted up so you can see the green of the leaves itself. So this photo is interesting because it was taken around 6 o'clock in the evening, and it definitely didn't look like either one. In fact, I think the S10 Plus is going too heavy on the blues, giving the whole feel of the image a different vibe compared to real life. Whereas with the Mate 20 Pro, it's a little bit more realistic, but it's tending to lean towards a warmer tone, which that time of day didn't have. I'd say the picture, or at least the feel of the picture, would fall somewhere in between both phones. This is kind of interesting because both cameras reversed roles. The S10 Plus now has the more vibrant, warmer tones, and the Mate 20 Pro looks a little bit cooler. I do like the picture on the S10 Plus better. The clouds look better. It's a little bit more blue. You also have a little bit more contrasty color, so the leaves themselves look a little bit more vibrant. I'm finding that the Mate 20 Pro is crushing the blacks a little bit too much, and you can see this along the bushes. But when we go to the wider lens, you're seeing a lot more contrast with the S10 Plus. The blacks are a little bit lower now with the S10 Plus, but not to the point like it is on the Mate 20 Pro. The Mate 20 Pro is just starting to lose a lot of detail with the wider lens. Those blacks are a little bit too dark for my liking. I would have loved to see them bumped up a little bit more. And third up, we have 2x zoom on the S10 Plus, and you have 3x zoom on the Mate 20 Pro. Again, you're seeing those blacks being crushed a little bit too much. I am seeing the details in the leaves and the sky a lot more with the S10 Plus. Moving on to low light photography, the S10 is a big improvement compared to the S9. It doesn't have a night mode, but it does detect when it's nighttime, and it takes 7 shots if you're holding the camera, or 17 shots if you're holding it with a tripod, which means it'll use that information to create the best image possible. The Mate 20 Pro, on the other hand, actually has a nighttime mode. So both of them actually look quite similar. If anything, I'm gonna give the slight edge to the Mate 20 Pro. You can see the details of my jacket a little bit better. My face is slightly exposed better, and the lighting in the background is also looking better. So again, another nighttime photo. I am gonna give the edge again to the Mate 20 Pro. If you look at the bushes on the left-hand side, you can actually see them. Whereas on the S10 Plus, they're completely blacked out. However, I will give a point to the S10 Plus for actually using more realistic color tones. I mean, this is at like 11 o'clock at night. The sky shouldn't look that blue. So this is portrait mode for both phones, or live focus on the S10 Plus. I think they both did a pretty good job. Obviously, the background looks a little artificial on both, but I think it looks a little bit more artificial on the Mate 20 Pro. You can actually see the power lines a little bit with the S10 Plus, whereas the background on the Mate 20 Pro is just like one fuzzy blob. Next up is selfies, and both phones still don't take the best selfies. I'm still gonna give that to the Pixel 3 and the iPhone XS. But this is an improvement for the S10 compared to the S9. It's definitely better than the selfie taken with the Mate 20 Pro. The Mate 20 Pro, my skin is just a little bit too red. Not true to life, the colors are a little bit off. Now don't get me wrong, the S10 Plus is not perfect either. My skin tones are a little bit yellow, but I do like the way it looks. So again, we have the exact same shot with live focus on this time. It completely blurred the background of the S10 Plus. It looks super duper fake, kind of cool, but really, really fake. The Mate 20 Pro on the other hand, I kept portrait mode on, but it just didn't do a good job of blurring out the background. Based on my first impressions, I think the Galaxy S10 Plus has the better front-facing camera. You guys let me know in the comments below. This is the audio from one of the microphones, and this is the audio from the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. So now we have some 1080p video. Both phones are doing a pretty good job. Stabilization, slightly better on the S10 Plus, but it's pretty close between both of these phones. But once you switch to 4K, that's when things really start to change. Again, you can see the cooler tones with the S10 Plus, but you do see the sky a lot better. Also, the stabilization is better on the S10 Plus compared to the Mate 20 Pro. So that pretty much wraps up my camera comparison between the S10 Plus and the Mate 20 Pro. I'll be honest with you, both of these cameras are amazing, but for daytime photography, for most situations, I'm finding the camera to be slightly better with the S10 Plus. It's not until you go to nighttime mode, that's where you see the difference with the Mate 20 Pro. I still think night mode with the Mate 20 Pro is better. Overall, they're very, very close, and there's really not much to complain, and a lot of the look of the photos really comes down to personal preference. Let me know which ones are your favorite shots in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.